Hello there, my friends. Marie Mac here from First Cut to Close, and I work as the affiliate manager here for Tools for Motivation. I am super stoked because this 2021 week of freebies has been amazing. So many good things, and I get to jump in and share with you a little bit more about my passion for organization. So not only do I help Tools for Motivation affiliates make sure they get all the information they need to be able to produce and share all of the content that we have here on Tools for Motivation, I also help the TFM team come up with some other systems in organization to make sure the products that you see are consistently going out to you. We don't want you to miss a thing. So with that, I do a ton of organization. I do a ton of systems for my clients, for Tools for Motivation. And today what I'm going to do is I'm going to share with you one of my systems to be sure that the PLR that you're downloading doesn't get lost. The worst thing that can happen to PLR is it can sit in that back desk that you have on your cloud and collect virtual dust. We don't want it to happen. We want to be sure that you're using it consistently, and I'm going to show you how to do that today. So let me go ahead and take this down a little bit. There we go. I'm over here in the corner. You can still see me. Now, Trello here is a project management system that I absolutely love. Everything that I show you here today is absolutely free. There's nothing that you have to pay for. So along with this, what I'm going to do is I'm going to share this public board link with you so you can download this and create this in your own Trello. Now, of course, I've been using Trello for years. Tools for Motivation team uses Trello consistently. There are a lot of amazing things that happen here. I cannot go into everything right now, but what I do have is I have a link below that goes into a deep dive into how to use Trello inside of your business to increase Trello as you're using your teams, your VAs, and to make sure that consistency is the top level of your business for sure. Now, I'm going to be sure that you have everything you need today from this training and this free link here, but if you want to take Trello to the next level and use it inside of your business for productivity, please grab that next training and I'll be glad to see you there. All right, so once over on Trello is that I'm going to send you a link for the public board. With that public board, you're going to download real quick a copy of this board to your own Trello account and then make edits as needed. So let me show you how to do that. Over here on our menu, we have Show Menu, and then if you click More, right down here, you have an option to copy board. As soon as you copy that, it's going to move over into your Trello account. You'll be able to make all edits, and all things are peaceful, my friends. Okay, so the way that I have set this Trello board up is there are 3 different sections. My big thing is consistency inside of business, and that includes your PLR. The PLR that you're getting is amazing, absolutely useful inside of your business, but it does you no good if it sits in that folder somewhere on Google, on Dropbox, whatever cloud you're using, and doesn't get used. So I want to make sure that it always gets used inside your business. So I have 3 different sections inside of this Trello board. I have this first section with the first 3 lists here that allows us to be sure we're consistently processing new content and reviewing old content that is your PLR. The next thing I have are 2 different lists for the owners and your weekly to-dos to be sure that you're consistently adding in these tasks inside of your business and that things don't get lost. Because there's a checklist of items, there's a bazillion things that have to happen inside your business, absolutely. But what I want to be sure is that you have a consistency and you have a thing that you can go, when you sit down to work, what are you going to do? And that's inside of here. We'll go over that in just a minute. The last section that I have are SOPs. These are standard operating procedures. This is how your business functions in consistency out there in the world. This is the key to your branding. This is the key to make sure your help, your VAs, your team, they have everything they need to be able to move forward. This is the consistency so that you don't have to use your brain power when you sit down and it's time to work through this PLR. You don't have to remember what those processes are. Again, we're going to go through some of the details inside of here. And inside of this, I have little itty bitty freebies that I'm going to show you. There are some other templates, there's some other spreadsheets, there's some other things that are snuck inside of here, and I am going to show you all of them, okay? The other thing I have is I have a list for your team members. I am in an assumption that you are growing your business and that you will have other people that are joining you. So we have to be sure that we document our processes consistently, and so we have some details in there. The other thing is just your assets. How are you going to use this board? As you grow, as you move into other team members coming in, we want to be sure that we're documenting that. And then I'll give you a little bit more details on that in just a second. All right, so I'm going to scooch back over here. Pending task, open tasks for review. These are my favorite 3 lists everywhere. We have the same exact thing inside of the First Cup to Close business. We have a very similar setup inside of Tools for Motivation business. The biggest thing is that as things come up inside of your business that need to be done, one-time tasks or things that are coming up that you don't want to forget about, you need to be sure to add them into some place where they can be stored. Your brain is absolutely beautiful, but I promise you, friends, you cannot remember it all. Not with life, not with kids, not with business, not with spouses, not with whatever you have. Whatever is going on in life, it all can be consuming. So we want to be sure that we consistently have a space where we can dump those ideas and make sure they don't get lost. So I'm going to use our, I'm just going to click over here. We had our random acts of kindness tip sheets. That was a part of this freebie week this week, and I wanted to just use that as some of our examples along the way. So if you see me say random acts of kindness, it's just because that was one of our freebies for this week. So what I've done here is I'm going to create a new card for some of the things that I want to be sure happen with my PLR. So here you can see I say create new lead magnet from the random acts of kindness tip report card. If I click tips report, goodness. So all I did for this is I went in and I just clicked on add a card and I made that card happen. It doesn't need to have all the details. It's just a matter of putting this in to your brain dump space so that it doesn't get lost. There might be something that you want to say. Random acts of kindness, lead magnet to 1, 2, 3, blog post. You might have this, of course, my spelling is super awesome, of course. So I don't know if I spelled that all right. There we go. It's okay. We're good. So my biggest thing with this is I just want to make sure that I don't forget to go in and connect the fact that I've just created this lead magnet to one of the important posts that I have, one of the important blog posts that are out there. Or I make a new blog post around this tip sheet. Whatever it makes sense inside of your business, be sure to add those different details inside of there. These are just some examples of how you can use your PLR. Now, I'm sure you have a bunch of other PLR. Maybe you're using PLR inside of your upcoming course. Maybe you're using PLR inside of to support your podcast. Whatever it might be, just be sure to make sure you're making notes on where that PLR, where your brain was thinking that PLR would be best used. And all you have to do is just make these different notes here. Make a note about 1 or make a note about 2. Whatever it is, add those notes here. Now, that's just a brain dump. Again, it's just a list of items to be sure they don't get missed and that PLR is used consistently. So the next thing you want to do is you want to be sure that you're moving this over to open tasks. So inside of my business, inside of Tools for Motivation as well, what we do is we have a card that has just our high level what we want to do, and then we go and add more details. What actually needs to be done to be able to add this random act of kindness lead magnet to that blog post? Do we have to create a form somewhere and sign up? Do we have to make sure it's formatted correctly? How is it being delivered? Do we need to create a welcome email? All of those things are steps that need to happen inside of this specific task. So you have an option up here to add some more descriptions, but what I really love are checklists. I am a checklist person. Let me tell you what. So on this checklist, you can save the name here, but you might have task number 1, number 2, number 3, number 4, whatever it is. All you're creating now is that system around making sure nothing gets lost and they don't get forgotten. Now, if you're consistently taking lead magnets and you're adding them to blog posts, what you could do is you can create this whole card and then create a template of it and make sure that you're using it every time there's a lead magnet and every time it has to get sent to a blog post. Create this checklist, create these details, and I'll show you a little bit about how those templates look in just a minute. So I'm taking this random act of kindness. I'm going to add it to my 1, 2, 3 blog posts. I know the different items that need to happen inside of there. And from that, I'm going to go ahead and add a date. So I want to make sure that this happens consistently. So I'm going to go ahead and add it for next week on Friday, and that due date pops up right here. Now that's really important because now what you're doing is you're creating not only the checklist of items that have to happen, You created yourself a little bit of accountability here, and that's super, super important because we don't want this lead magnet or we don't want this PLR to just sit over there and collect virtual dust. We want it to be sure it moves through. So this is how we make sure things happen inside of your business. Now there's some other options over here in each side of these cards. You can totally decide on what works best for you. So take a look again in the free training that I have below that you can go ahead and grab. I go into detail about how to use each and every single one of these items, but you're more than welcome to come in here, click on the buttons inside of Trello and see what's going to work best for you. Okay, so now I went in and I said, okay, I'm going to do 1, 2, 3, and 4. I get this little green. Doesn't that satisfy you? Oh my gosh, friends, this little green bar, it does something for me. I'm super stoked about it. I love checking off the checklist. I love being able to see products move from PLR into blog posts and then out into the world so that we can support those that need it the most. Now, I went ahead and did all this. I'm going to check it off that everything's done. You can see this cool quick view over here. Everything's green. Absolutely perfect. I love it. Now, if it has to go to review, sometimes this is, you might have a VA that's helping you move these blog posts or these PLR into blog posts. So you want that to go into review and then you'll check off whether things are done. If nothing else, if this is just you and you're working inside your business, it's absolutely amazing. Keep on it for sure. But I want to be sure that you take a moment and just celebrate the fact that you've moved this PLR from something that is free, like our amazing Random Acts of Kindness product, all the way through and into a blog post so that it can now be used by your audience. So celebrate that. Take that, go with it, make it something that's amazing because you'll keep that consistency through your business. Now, once you're done with everything, I like to keep a clean board. Once a card's all done, we have done everything we need to do for this task. What I do is I go down here and I archive this. Now, archiving it will take that card away, but it's not gone forever. If for some reason you go and you archive something, you can always click on Show menu, and let's go back real quick. Yep, and go to Archived Items. We can see right here that that archived item is right there. So not all is lost, but it is out of your way. We like to keep a clean board, everything stays organized, and we consistently move through. So that's how we're going to use these first 3 boards. I'm going to move through the next couple sections kind of quickly, but I want to be sure to give you the assets you need to be able to keep the consistency inside of your business and make sure that the tasks that you have that are most important are always happening. Now I'm going to go over to weekly to-dos. Weekly to-dos and owners' daily rounds, those are 2 things that you can use for productivity and efficiency inside of your business. I'm going to go over to owner daily rounds real quick. This is something that you can set up depending on how you work best. For me, I'm a morning person. I love to do consistency throughout the day, but I don't want to get caught up in all of the different things that have to happen. So I create an owner daily rounds card. In here, you can see that I work in order on each of these different tasks. I've decided to put a time, actual time during each one of these, and then a time limit for each one of these. I just set my timer on my watch and I say, okay, I'm going to do task 1 for 10 minutes. Task 1 might be check my email. I'm going to do task 2 for 15 minutes. Okay, I need to check in with clients. I need to make sure that my team is going well, so I'm going to do that for 15 minutes. Whatever it might be, you can just describe your tasks here. This is a consistency. So what you're going to do is each morning you're going to come in. This is how I do mine. I just go through here, check it all off. Sweet, I'm all done with my daily rounds, and then all I do is I uncheck everything and I reset it for the next day. It's a really great way to keep consistency inside your business. So that's how you use this. Next one is I want to go over here to weekly to-dos. Now, weekly to-dos are a way for us to make sure that there's always things that are happening inside of your business, but that you don't get overloaded. So inside of First Kept to Close, we talk a lot about the top 3. What are the top 3 things that are going to move your business forward today? And we use those top 3 things as a way for us to be sure we're staying consistent, but we don't get overloaded. So you can see here I have a couple examples of my week 1. Week 1 is like next week. Well, I guess this week would be week 1. Either way, whenever you have the first week of the month, whatever that works for you, however you start your week, that is week 1. You're welcome to update this to whatever the week dates are. However it works for you is great. But inside of this template, what I have is I have a checklist for Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday, Friday. We work Monday through Friday here. You might have a Saturday, Sunday, whatever works for you, make this card your own. My big point is that inside of this, we want to make sure we're moving through tasks without getting overwhelmed. So we always have the top 3 things that need to happen today. Now in here, I have some very specific things. Think about your SMART goals. Again, in my training that I'm going to add for you, I talk a little bit more about SMART goals and how that's important inside your business. But I want to make sure that my goals are very specific, they're very time-bound, all of those things are happening inside of here. So you'll see that I'm checking in with 4 of my mastery clients. I'm going to reach out to 20 leads for re-engagement conversations. This is huge inside of my business, and I want to make sure that it happens consistently. And then I'm going to modify 2 pages inside the new lead magnet, and I have just a template here that says, what's the lead magnet name? The other thing I might do is add a link to that. Maybe it's inside of my Google folder, and I'm going to add a link there. So you can see I have these top 3 items for my Monday task, and then I have my Tuesday task, and I can kind of drip out some of the different things that need to happen depending on the day that they have to happen. So that's how I do my week 1. I love it. I absolutely love it. All of my project managers inside of First Cup to Close use this model. We have a weekly checklist that happens, and then we have a daily depending on what we need to get done that day. Now I want to show you back over here. What I've done is I've made this card a template card, which means if you create a card from template, I've already created week 2, but I can create a week 3 here. And then it just says it'll keep all the checklists of what we want to do, and then we have it in the list that is weekly to do. So as soon as I do that, you can see right down here, great, I've got a brand new card that populated right here, and I can have my week 3 that's going down. All I have to do here is delete these ones, 1, 2, 3. I'm just going to clean this up so you can see how easy that is. Now what I have is I have week 3 all set, and that's going to be a consistency inside my business. Usually at the end of the month, what I'll do is I'll set up my next set of weeks. So like coming up in July, we have 4 weeks coming up. I'll do week 1, 2, 3, 4. And if I know there's something specific that has to happen inside of those weeks, I'll go ahead and add it in because I don't want it to get lost. Okay? So that's consistency. This is how we take our PLR that's out there. We're making sure that we're still using it and that we've delegated the right amount of time inside of our days to make that happen. All right, I'm going to jump over. I know I'm talking fast, but there's so much to go over. I just can't not do it. Okay, so the next thing I have is my SOPs and my standard operating procedures, and then our other details that are over here. I want to show you this really cool checklist that I'm going to send over your guys' way. Again, you're going to download this board into your Trello account. You're going to have access to everything we see here. This is yours. This is free. Go with it, okay? Let me move this over just a little bit. All right. So adjusting PLR to blog posts. This is an SEO checklist. This is a checklist that I've used for some other clients, and I've modified it a little bit more so that you can use it. You modify this depending on what works best for your business, but if you haven't started this yet, it's a really great place to go, okay? Take a look at it. At the top, we have the description. Inside of here, we want to make sure that we don't lose any of the content that we have. Again, you know, our random act of kindness, that's just one of many, many PLRs that you have inside of your assets. So don't be sure that you always annotate where those are and how you're using them consistently. So up here all I have is my content library, what blog posts, freebies, and then I have a link to that Google folder or that Dropbox folder or whatever cloud you're using. And then I have master PLR access. So a lot of times I will have a large folder. As you can see inside of PLR, we do the same thing. Like we always have this consistency. If you watch our stuff, you'll see it. You'll have 1 e-covers, reports, 3, 4, 5. We always label these so that you can use them in a specific order as needed, but that things stay consistent for your business and that you can find things. So you'll always see our naming conventions are happening inside of Tools for Motivation, and we suggest the same things for yours. Okay, so this is yours. Go take a look at it. I'm not going to go through every single item here, but what I do want to show you is that I have a couple links to some things that I find. These are not affiliate links. These are just things for you to take a look at. They might help you with your keywords. What I want to be sure is that you're using your PLR, you're modifying it for your own voice and tone and what's going to work for your keywords, and then you're posting it out there and you're using it consistently. So I just wanted to send over this checklist. You use it as you need to, modify it as you need to. It's inside our SOPs here. So the next thing I have here is another little tidbit, a little freebie for you here is our new lead journey. This right here, keeping up with the engagement inside of Facebook groups, inside of any community that you have, can be daunting. But it is really important for you to make sure that those people that you are communicating with consistently know that you have new PLR. So we want to go out there, we want to have the different trainings and the different touch points for them. So what I have here at the top is just this new lead. If you open this up, it'll open into a spreadsheet. You can make that, take a look at it, make a copy of it. Let me know if you have questions for sure. But what I like to do is I like to add a specific training. As soon as you have your system set up, turn on the loom like this, go through the training and leave it here. That way, first, you don't have to remember how to do it again if you don't do it consistently. Second, you can pass it off to a team member when it's time. Now, I have a couple checklists here that are really important if you are passing it off, but also, again, we're looking for efficiency for your time. If you have 30 minutes to sit down and do this task, I don't want you to have to remember how to do that every single time. So make sure that you add some either swipe copy, this would be how you consistently talk with people, the verbiage that you say, or a link to your group, whatever makes sense for you, add it in here. Modify this as needed. If you have questions, please let me know. That asset is in there for you. Same thing with answering customer service emails. Sometimes when you have blog posts or you have downloads or you're using your freebie inside of other assets inside of your business, you're going to want to be sure that you're adding in your training about how to help those customers. So we do the same thing inside of Tools for Motivation. We have those how we annotate things with our customers consistently. All right, so let me jump over here to team members. I want to make sure I finish up this training so you can get on your way. We just need to go in and make things happen. So I have a couple things here. First is our weekly scheduling. Now, you have created a blog post from the Random Acts of Kindness PLR, and now it's ready to share out there. So we want to be sure that that's happening, again, consistently for your social media, for your email, whatever it might be. So use this card as you're passing it off to somebody else. I have a couple more examples here, LinkedIn, Instagram, whatever it might be. So take a look at those. I want to make sure that you have a template to modify and be able to jump in and stay consistent inside your business. So how to use this board is in our assets. Again, usually after I set my board up, what I'll do is I'll turn on a loom like this and say, this is how we do it inside of this business. And that's where I put in here on how to use this board. That way, if anybody comes in and they're new to the team, they can learn a little bit more about this board and how you're being consistent inside your business. Now, PLR organization naming conventions. This is a big deal. When you have your different, when you have all of your assets that you have inside of your business, what you want to make sure you're doing is you're consistently using those assets to be consistent inside your business. So what we're going to do is we have a PLR naming conventions. One of the big things is the date, the topic, and the PLR name. PLR product name. This is totally up to you. You might want to change this up and say, okay, instead, we're going to have a folder that is our topic, and then we're going to have a folder that is a product name, and then you can have a folder that is by date. Whatever makes sense to you, just annotate how you have those folders added into your specific cloud and make sure you can find things. This is how you can find things quickly. If you've ever had frustrations about where did I put that thing, this is how you can overcome that, okay? So just annotate how your naming conventions are and then link over to that Google folder so that you have something that's clean and easy to find. Similarly to how we have our tip sheet here, okay? If we go in and we know that the naming convention is always going to be 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, then we can find things consistently and we know exactly where to go for the reports. We know exactly where to go for the slide decks because they're named consistently inside of there. Okay, friends, I feel like I spoke super fast. That's okay, because here's what I have. This training is here for you to use. I want you to be confident inside of making sure your PLR is moving from PLR all the way into your business, however it makes sense. And I want to make sure you stay consistent inside your business. So we have 3 different sections here. We have our brain dumps that goes into open tasks and reviews. And then we have our consistency for our owners and our weekly to-dos of our top 3. Those are really important. We have a couple SOPs here, passing things off to team members, and then how to use this board. Here is what I want to give you. This template is yours again. If you feel like you want to use Trello in a little bit more in-depth way, please take a look at the training that is below. I'd be glad to give that to you for free. If you have any questions, let me know, and I'll be glad to help. Thank you.